It's Great Feather Gaming here, and today, instead of a gaming video, I will be doing a tutorial for the Skyrim creation kit. It's a little bit different, and the game's kind of old, but there's still a lot of people who want to learn how to do this, and a lot of the tutorials are kind of complicated. It took a while for me to figure this out. So, this episode we will be learning how to make a simple dungeon. Since we want this to be simple, we will be using well, at least I will be using the Nordic dungeon. That's the easiest to use. Caves is completely different. You can still do it with a Dwemer, Imperial, most of the stuff. It works the same, but it's a little bit more annoying to do. And but caves is completely different, so I'll do a separate tutorial later. Alright, so first off, what we want to do is we want to go to, if we want to create a new cell for this to be in, let's go to Edit, then New. You right click there to bring up the Edit and New things. So put something before they're like 0 something. I'm gonna put gray, then another 0, and that will make sure your cell is at the top of the list of interiors. That helps you find it a lot easier. Alright, so let's call this Shadow Fall Ruins, I guess. And make sure when you create the ID for this, there is no spaces. Then next, what you want to do is you want to click on you don't have to do this part, but I usually do it. You do default acoustic, go down to INT dungeon or wherever it is. For a Nordic, it would usually be medium acoustic or large, depending on how you make it. INT stands for interior. So the stone, medium acoustic. So I'm going to do that, and then music you can change whatever you want. Let me see if I can find. Is there? I don't know if there's one for Nordic dungeons. Dungeon. Let's just do dungeon. You can see how that looks. Sounds later. Can't travel from here. You can't untick this, so you can fast travel while you're in the dungeon. You don't really need this unless it's a giant dungeon like a cave or whatnot. And then location. This I don't know how to do this. With the water. I suggest, unless there's tons of water, like the entire dungeon is in a lake, I don't suggest you use the water. But if you do, make it like, well, yeah, you can just customize this. Alright, so interior lighting, just you don't have to mess with this really unless you want to get all fiddly with the lighting. Interior data. Here's one of the important sections. This is the name that you see when you open the load doors and stuff like that. So, yeah, let's call this Shadow Fall Ruins. Yeah, like I said, this is what the player sees when they go into the dungeon. So that's what you want to call it, or whatever, or whatnot. Alright, so you can put on, so they can't wait in there. It's off limits, so you'll get in trouble if you go there, or if just random people can walk in. Since it's a dungeon, I don't think just you have public area. You can do owner NPC, owner faction, lock list. I don't know what that does. And then required rank. If it's a faction, and you do off limits, unless you're that rank, it's off limits. if you're that rank in the faction. Alright, so this you don't really have to change unless you want to. So that's all set. Let's go to apply and then OK. Alright, let's just go there. So to go to the and see it, you want to click on this and then double click it. That will open up it in the render window. Alright, so now also down here in this, if there's a little star next to it, that means you have edited it. Or this just appears because that's when that's where I right clicked it to go to make the new cell. That's why there's a little tick there. So you double click it and it appears here. Since there's nothing in there yet, there's nothing in there, obviously. Alright, so let's start with small hall exit small. So here we go. There we go. That's a one-way. That's not what I want. Just a second. Let's type in EX for exit and end exit. There we go. So it ends the hall with an exit. Alright. So we'll do the load door to get it out into the exterior world so you can enter the dungeon from outside later. So, you know what, actually that should be our top priority for this. Well, no. Alright, now we want to find a one-way small hall. There we go. And you will definitely want to turn on this. It's snap to grid. Unless you're doing the later segments, when you're just doing the halls, you need snap to grid and snap to angle. But before you do that, right click. That I did not mean to do that. Right click, render window properties, movement. You can check on snap to grid and snap to angle right there instead of clicking there and there. Snap to grid 16 is the best, and snap to angle 45 is the best. Those will help you. That will help you make sure everything is aligned. So make sure that's applied and you can close it. So now, as you can see, instead of it just being free-handed, you can just like move it a bit and then you can adjust this and it'll snap into the right position. See that's seamless with that enabled. Alright, so let's just make this hall a bit longer. If you do Control D, then you can duplicate the piece you're holding. Oh yeah, at this point it's probably good to tell you, I forgot to do this at the beginning. So if you hold Shift and you move your mouse, then you rotate around whatever you have selected. If you don't have anything selected, then you just rotate around you just rotate around kind of randomly. It might be around the last thing you selected, but I don't think so. I don't know how it rotates if you don't have anything selected. Then if you hit Control and you do that, oops. If you hit, Control doesn't do anything. If you use the scroll wheel, you zoom in and out. If you click, if you left click and you drag, then you drag the objects. Then you drag the objects, and that's also how you drag them from the object window. If you right click and move it, that's how you rotate the objects. If you want to move them up and down, as you can see they're not moving up and down, you have to hold Z and they'll go up and down, and you know it's working by the blue arrow. Sometimes the blue arrow will stay there after you stop moving it. Just click it, just tap Z and it'll go away if it's staying there for some reason. If you hold X, then it'll only move along this axis, along the red axis, or the X axis. If you hold C, then it'll only move along the green axis or the Y. It's called the Y, but if you hit Y, it just snaps along the X axis. It's weird. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. So now you know how to move it around. Alright. So now let's add another exit, except let's do an exit that continues on with the hall, so we can add something later. Oh yeah, if you place the stuff down, you may end up with something like this. You just go upwards with the, you just go upwards with it, and then it's lined up on the same level. But if you want to get things at the same level when you place, so drop them in from the object window, you take them and you drag them and you drop them on something else, and they should be aligned. With this though, since the floor sags down a bit, then it's going to be a bit lower. So you should like, instead of doing it like that, you should take it and drop it around this area so it's nice and lined up. And there we go. Yeah, we're not going to have that yet. So right now, what we're going to add is we're going to add a small room. So what we're going to do, since we already have the exit, then we're going to go to, instead of in small halls, we're going to go to small rooms. And then we need to search for EX for exit, and exit small one. There we go. And here we are. Perfect. And see how that lines up nicely? Alright. So now, yeah. And if you look at this though, you see how it says side and some of them say front? That actually really matters. Because whenever you have walls that are lined up on the same side, then you want sides. The same thing, side or front. If it's front, and here, let me just put down a front next to a side, then you're going to see, if you look at the roof, they don't match up properly. See how this is lower? And when you add when you add the middle pieces, which is the floor without a wall, you're going to notice that it doesn't look too good. You'll have gaps in the roofs like that, see? So that's why it matters front or side. Let's delete that since we're not ready for that. Alright, yeah. So we're just gonna make a simple room with nothing in it. Alright. Let's just side. I put an extra D in there. There we go, side. Let's see, side with a window? No, we don't want that. Why is it? Oh, there we go. It needs to be like this if it's gonna fit in there, but that doesn't work well. Alright, yeah. You can use that kind of thing. There's a fireplace. I forget, does this work right here? Now let's put a fireplace there so I can show you how to do fireplaces later on. And then let's just make a search for COR for corner. Yes, most things in this are abbreviated, like corner is abbreviated. Quite a few other things are abbreviated. So if you search for something and you don't see it, try an abbreviation of what you put. Alright. So front. Now since we turned the corner, we need to put a front piece. Let's do front piece 3. Does this look good? Yes. And if you notice with these corner pieces, the corner pieces, since there's a gap right there between the pillars, these make it so there's a little piece there so it connects properly. It's right to fill in that hole. That's how you know how you have that lined up properly. One of the ways, at least. Some pieces, okay, there we go. Sometimes you just like mess up your rotation, you have to redo it. There we go. It's good to switch up the pieces you use so the walls don't look too bad. Alright. But if you do this pieces like this one that are curved wall, I suggest you make them like symmetrical, or at least think about look at them and then think about what they will look like in game. Oh yeah, I completely forgot. So see this light button? This is what it looks like in game because of there's no light sources. I'll show you how to fix that later. So if you view this, you'll probably need a torch to see anything at the moment. So let's add another corner. Inwards corner and put that there. Oops. Go to another tab and there we go. Now if you want to, you could just copy this side, but since there's a door, we don't want that door. Then we want side. Wait, no. Here we go. We'll add this. Since this is the same width as 3 of those, it will be alright. It's not lined up. There we go. Since it's the same size as 3 of those, since it has the extra wall pieces on either side and the door frame, it will take up a bit more space. It's 3 times the length of that. But these are all designed to fit well together, so you won't have to do any awkward adjustments because of pieces like this that are longer. Alright, let's do an outwards corner. Is this the right one? There we go. And let's make a quick inlet. Alright. I'm trying to show you as much as I can about the room design. Alright, I want to just do this a bit quickly. Oops. There we go, and yeah, that's a lot of space to cover, so oopsie, I think I did something. Yes, I did. I accidentally used this piece and it's not supposed to go there. Wait, did I mess up? I believe I messed up. This is supposed to be, wait, this is actually 4, no wait, dang it, I messed up with this piece. This needs to be a side because of the way we made this. This needs to be a side piece, and I place it really far away so it's not completely even with the ground, and that's causing some issues. Is that level? Yes, it is, and there we go. Nice and lined up now. Yeah. Alright, so now I need a front. There we go. That looks really nice. So, and when you're designing walls, try to put pieces together that complement each other like this. This really complements it, doesn't it? Kind of makes another curve. I think it works well. Here we go. And then just put another side piece here. This one will work well, I guess. And then another inwards corner, and then there we go. To speed this up, I'm gonna quickly just copy this. If you hold control while you click stuff, then you can select multiple then you can click multiple pieces and rotate them at the same time. Just gonna quickly put these together, and then hopefully that looks good, or at least decent. I'm gonna delete this piece so they fit together, and there we go. Take another corner. Yeah, and it can be a lot faster if you just copy something else that's at the same piece and put it there. Alright, sorry. Get something that's three pieces, so that's side, right? Yes. Let's put this one. Oops, I rotated it upside down. There we go, fixed it, and just there we go. One more piece, and we got the nice walls. But as you notice, there's a big hole in the floor. So what we'll want to do is we want to search mid, or you can just find it in this by scrolling around. Mid 1. And there we go. You got a nice flooring, which is nice and lined up. Hold X so it goes in the right direction. There we go. Duplicating it every time we need to. And there we go. Now, if you're doing flooring like this, then it's much easier to select multiple pieces of the flooring and slide them all. Obviously don't do this if it's like an odd shaped room. Don't make too much floor, because it might cause some real glitches with the floor, some twitching and everything. There we go. That looks good-ish. Now let's put in a door right there. Well, we'll work on doors and other things like that in our next tutorial. For now, let's go see what this looks like. I'm gonna quickly throw down a door and make it so I can get here easier. You could do COC, but this is much easier. You just go into here, grab a door, throw it down, and teleport, and then just set up a door somewhere else. Let me just go find a good place to put this door. So Tamriel right at the bottom. Not at the bottom, but yeah. There we go. Okay. Sometimes the creation kit will stop responding. This takes a second to load. Don't worry about that, because it's kind of loading a lot of stuff. And just gotta wait for it to load. There we go. Here we are. So let's just select Riverwood. There we go, Riverwood. And load. There we go. Here we go, Riverwood and Riverwood. There we go. You make sure whenever you're in the exterior space, you grapple onto something, like select it, and then before you rotate. Yeah, and if you're gonna do a trap door or some kind of door to send you there instead of doing COC like I like to do, just make sure you put it. Riverwood is a good place to do it. doesn't have to look good since it's not going to be there. I'll show you more how to do the load doors in my next tutorial. Alright, so that's good. Alright, let's save this as it's always good to do the little bit intro piece, because that way the IDs won't conflict with any other person's mods unless they use the same little code as you, and they'll also have to have the same item name as your item, so it shouldn't happen too often. And if it does, you can just like point out that mod doesn't work. Alright, it helps a lot. So tutorial dungeon. I'm just going to do that quickly in the sake of time. Minimize this. Then we want to launch Skyrim. Make sure you go into there we go, data files, scroll down to the bottom, that's where it should be, and then you make sure that your dungeon's name is ticked, otherwise it won't appear. If it's not ticked, it's not active. And then you hit play. I'll just cut it until I got the game up and running.
Approach, my child, and choose where your new life shall begin. Approach, my child, and choose where your new life shall begin. The woods can be so peaceful this time of year. Good hunting.
Alright, we're back, and so here's the trapdoor added to go to Shadowfall Ruins. So here it is. We came out where the trapdoor was, so we just get rid of the quest. So here's where the door will be. If you notice, there's nothing there. And if you fall out into where there's nothing, then you just appear back at basically the entrance that you were at. So as you can see, there's not too many gaps. I suggest you make sure always test out your mod on foot to make sure there's no gaps within it. So there's nothing here. But as you can see, this is kind of a bland dungeon. For next episode, we'll be learning how to clutter it, or fill it with items, as the more descriptive term is. Yeah, and as you can see, you can kind of just like jump through the back side of these blocks of these pieces, which is pretty fun to do. Alright, so I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.